how much interference can the executive, you know, how much influence, maybe that's the word I should use, can the executive exert on the judiciary without interfering?
No, Nigeria is a very interesting country where we're so patient, almost resilient. Nigerians are only waiting for a leadership all the time. And if the new government shows commitment to abide by the rule of law, Nigerians are going to adjust, including the judges, including the lawyers.
But that's what I was saying, because one would think that...
And that will not lead to interference. If you are simply told, right, that if as a lawyer, I pursue a cause that I know, as a senior lawyer, is meant to delay the trial of a case. If I know I'm going to run into trouble, I will adjust, I will behave myself. In the Boris case, you know, Chief James Ibori was discharged here. I think it was a 170 count charge. The judge didn't look at the charges. Simply say, go home and sin no more. No problem. When he got to another jurisdiction, for the same offenses, he was charged. And when he discovered they could not filibuster, he couldn't manipulate the system, he pleaded guilty. Somebody pleaded not guilty here and was asked to go home. He had to plead guilty before the English court. And I stumbled on one of the lawyers. I said, why did you do that? Why didn't you ask for adjournment? Of course, I was being cynical. He said, no, because we're not in Nigeria. Why did you have appeal against the rulings of the court? He said, no, because we're not in Nigeria. And he then told me something that really surprised me. He said, having known that Chief James Ibori had a very bad case, if we had proceeded with the trial and he was eventually convicted, that was not a problem. What would have been a problem is that we as lawyers might have lost the opportunity to practice law in the United Kingdom for wasting the resources of Her Majesty, you know, and the time of Her Majesty's court. For me, here, it happens every day, and nobody is sanctioned. If you now have a new regime that says it's not going to be business as usual, we're going to deal with lawyers and judges under the law, who deliberately frustrate the trial of criminal cases. And we're also going to deal with suspects too, who are not ready for their trial. I don't think we have a problem.
What I'm looking at is...
And that will not be interference because the laws are there. The NJC is there
exactly.
to deal with...
Mr. Falana, I think you're beginning to look at where I'm looking, in the sense that we're looking at a totally separate arm of government. Yes. We have the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Shouldn't the body language of the Chief Justice of Nigeria send enough shivers down the spine of any lawyer or any judge who wants to be corrupt?
In fairness to the Chief Justice, Chief Justices, if a government in power goes around promoting people who are standing trial in court for serious offenses, those who have been declared wanted by other countries for drug trafficking, as a judge, you already made to believe that you may be wasting your time if you go after such people. But if a government comes tomorrow to say, sorry, if you are charged with a criminal offense, you go and sort out yourself. If the president is not going to call the EFCC chairman or the ICPC chairman or a judge, please, I want that case to go this way. Once everybody recognizes that you are on your own, the society will move. And I have said it. Some of the Western countries are the most corrupt in the world, contrary to what they say about us. Switzerland and the rest, where all stolen money is taken to. And you can't say Switzerland is corrupt-free. But what they do in the West, they call it the 11th commandment of the bourgeoisie. Thou shalt not be caught. Once you are caught, you're on your own.
Mr. Falana,
we must start that.
Class bias you talk about is something that we really must look at. Class bias.
Yes.
Because we have seen some people in government, knowing that they don't even have immunity in the first place, nothing is brought before them. They don't even go to courts. And
Listen,
finally,
impunity.
yeah, that's another
impunity.
name. That's the name for it.
Yeah. Now, on a daily basis, in every police station, trials are conducted, mock trials. They call them interviews. Serious criminal cases are settled. You pay, you go away. I've told you of a situation here where between 2005 and 2006, in Lagos area alone, 197 people convicted by the Federal High Court for drug-related offences. No option of fine. They were not found in either Ikoyi or Kirikiri prisons. There and then, once the judge turns his back, you pay there. Between the defense counsel, the prosecution counsel, that's NDLEA lawyer, and prison authority, you pay and you go home, go back to the business. It doesn't happen anywhere. There's another one they call prison exchange. If you get somebody in Ikoyi, because we do not have fingerprints, we don't take the fingerprint of suspects yet in this agent time. Between Ikoyi and Kirikiri, there's an exchange. A young man who is jobless will take the place of the convict. He will be paid, and he's the one that will spend the jail time while the big man is at home.
Do these things really happen?
Oh yes, I'm telling you, of course. Of course. The one I talk about is I got the information from a government report. The 197 people that didn't go to prison. I got the report. It was a judicial commission of inquiry set up by the government. But for the government to have the political will to enforce the recommendations of the panel have been the problem.
When you said when the government comes in, will they be willing to handle these things? Do you think separating the office of the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice will help in any way?
No, that will not be the answer. I mean, we're just talking of the political will of the government to enforce the law. And I think the president-elect has some history in this regard. He once fought corruption. What we are now saying, it has to be done under the rule of law. As a military dictator, he did. Now, under the rule of law, he's lucky to have as his vice president Professor Yemi Osinbajo. When we're having the judicial reforms in Lagos, 3 judges were sacked, 21 magistrates were removed. When Yemi Osinbajo was the Attorney General in Lagos State. And that changed the whole thing. But now we have gone back. In our rating now, our rating is very bad now.